pressing the Japanese flag on my screen there. Because I love Japan. I love it so much. I press the Japan
That's stupid.
You're welcome. Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am Sam Allman.
I am Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
And I'm Maddie Grace Webben.
And today we will be continuing to have no backbone and sell out to get them sweet, sweet downloads and talk about a really, really famous RPG called Chrono Trigger. And this is episode 2, which we will cover the future segment and art. That sentence got away from me. And save our game in the end of time when we first show up. But before we get to all of that, how is everybody's week?
I'm still working from home. I may be working from home for at least another month. Honestly, I'm fine with that. I like not going into the office. I like being all by myself. I don't like video conferences.
No, God. Actually, I don't know. I kind of like them because I can play Animal Crossing during them, but other than that...
Other than that, I mean, it's been fine for me. Like, I'm a really, introverted, I don't want to say isolationist, but, like, I definitely am fine spending a whole lot of time by myself. And, I mean, I spent today playing Chrono Trigger at work, so...
Yeah.
Also, the two of y'all get to, you know, shelter in place with, like, your families and loved ones, right? Whereas me, my loved ones live in other houses that are in other places, and I cannot go see them, and it sucks.
Yeah, I made the joke the first time that, like when the shelter in place order was first going out. I was like, "What? Don't go outside for a month? I've been practicing this since I was in 7th grade."
Yeah. If this shit had happened like 4 years ago, it would have been NBD to me. Unfortunately, I have become significantly more extroverted in the last couple of years, and now I cannot handle it. It's like, why did I even bother going through all this personal growth and learning to have a social life and not be awkward and like have all these great close friendships? And why did I even bother learning all that shit if this was going to happen?
Right? I do feel like I am in 7th grade again because I'm binging through Final Fantasy VII. And it was 7th grade when I binged Final Fantasy 8 and 9 in a 2-week period back to back. So,
nice. Eli, have you been playing even more FF14 than usual?
I've been playing the same amount of FF14 as usual, which is still a lot.
You couldn't really go up.
No, it can't go up. There's not much more time in the day for me to be playing Final Fantasy 14. I mean, I guess actually, technically I did, because on Wednesday and Thursday, my back was killing me. And so I was like, I'm not going to work today. I'm just going to sit in the same spot that I normally sit and bust through a bunch of painkillers and just play Final Fantasy.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels so weird, like, both, like, if I... because like I have to log my own hours. So if I do anything before 8 or do anything after 5, it feels weird to give myself overtime because like I'm just sitting there. But also it feels weird to give myself regular time because I'm just sitting there, and it's like things have been kind of slow lately. So it's just like, I don't know, like, does this count? Like, if I don't get any phone calls or updates to my email tickets for 4 hours, and I'm sitting here at my house with my family, am I even on the clock? It's a weird, weird
I
combo.
think that way even with my normal job without shelter in place, because we get a certain amount of hours each day for like logistical time, and normally instead of actually tracking our logistical time, and we can if we want. But my boss was like, don't do that. Just for every lesson you log 10 minutes of logistical time. Like, it just tends to balance out, right? Like, that's probably about how much you put in calling parents, doing emails. So if you have 5 sessions, if you have 4 sessions in a day, go ahead and just log 45 minutes of logistical time, because that's unless you have a special situation where you call a parent and you talk for like half an hour, right? And that's always how I've done it. But the thing is, sometimes the tasks that I'm assigned, calling parents, sending emails, because of some of my brain problems, that stuff sometimes takes a long time. And the thing is, sometimes I go to log those hours, and I'm about to log like 3 hours of doing this stuff, and I think to myself, like, okay, but if anyone else did this, it would have taken 2 hours. You know? Like, like, can I really log 3 hours if it was like 3 hours of me sitting at my computer struggling to write an email and then get distracted and go into Kotaku and then like taking a walk, and then, but that's not like because I'm procrastinating. It's like because like it's, I don't know, you know what I mean? So I'm like, how much is actually the fair amount to log? And my boss had to be like, no, like don't do wage theft on yourself. Like, log the amount of hours it took. If it's too much, then I'll have a talk with you about it. You know, like if you're logging too much hours that is appropriate, we can talk. But like, you're freaking fine. But yeah, you know, the point is, self-logging is already weird, and I can imagine it being even more weird now.
Yeah. One thing that's, speaking of self-logging, that's actually great is we're on our 3rd CEO since I've been working at this place. And
wait, have you been working at this place for like 3 months?
Coming up on 5, but yeah. It's crazy because the first CEO that I had, he had been CEO for like 12 years, but things had gotten really stagnant. So the board, when he went in and did his budget, it was like, hey, we're not going to make any money this year. The board was like, you know what? That's not a good excuse anymore. And so they let him go. Then they brought in this new guy without because things lined up, without going into too much of the office politics, but like things lined up perfectly, and he seemed to be a good fit, but turns out he was not a good fit. He didn't really have any leadership experience. He was my company is so small that the CEO is my direct supervisor, and I never came in contact with the guy the whole month that he was there.
Oh, wow. So
now the original founder is the CEO again, and one of the first things that the founder did, he's like, I'm getting rid of the time clock section non-productive time, because that just makes you feel like a dick for filling it out. Like, hey, hello job, yes, I was not productive for 4 hours today, please still pay me. And it's like, I'm getting rid of that because you're working the whole time. Yeah, like if you're sitting there with the phone on your ear in queue, you're working even if no calls come in. So now it's marked under it's now marked under miscellaneous, which has been a godsend for working from home, because it's like, I don't know. I was on my phone for like 2.5 hours the other day reading Homestuck 2. Where's the Homestuck 2 project for me to file this work under?
Yeah. You know, actually, I'm just imagining that this guy that was there for a month and sucked, I'm just imagining he's 80s guy from Futurama. He shows up. He gives you a big monologue about being a shark, and he's, hey, sharks don't look back because they don't have a neck, and then he dies of bonitis.
My only regret is that I have bonitis.
Sorry you deal with that, Sam.
But since we segued into talking about me, which is my favorite thing to talk about, I will now segue into my second favorite thing to talk about, which is Digimon. So last week I said that the anime was paced really, really fast, but they did a darn tootin' switcheroo on us yesterday, and it's actually paced really slow. So it's pretty cool. Allow me to gush, because fucking Matt and goddamn Ancient Omega haven't watched it yet, and I have literally no other Digimon friends, so I'm going to just yell into the void. That's what podcasts are for, is to yell into the void about Digimon.
It really is. Well, various things.
About anything, I'd say.
If you want to yell about Digimon, Sam, You can.
Okay, so
We won't stop you this time.
So, as you two both avid fans of Digimon know, that
I'm well aware.
the inciting incident in the original Digimon show was the Digimon movie. The Digimon movie had a flashback when Tai and Kari were toddlers, and they met a Digimon. They raised it. It fought out in the street, and then all of the Digidestined kids saw it, and that primed them to then go off on their adventure on the show. The movie also had a segment that was a sequel to the show. That was when Matt and Tai went into the internet instead of the digital world, stopped a virus that was about to make the United States blow up Japan. So what had happened was in the new reboot,
they did that. Good for them.
So in the new reboot, the first episode, Tai meets Agumon and hangs out and does a short little thing, and we're like, oh, that's pretty cool. The second episode, Matt meets up with Tai, and they're in the internet, and they stop the U.S. from blowing up Japan, and then they digivolve into Omnimon, which is like the joke I made last week about Super Saiyan 3, and that's why everybody was like, wow, this is paced so fast, they're Super Saiyan 3 at the beginning. But that's not what it is. It's actually the fight with Vile in Mega Man X, where this big cool thing happened, you saw how strong it was, and then you can't come close to it for like the rest of the show.
That is also a reference I totally understand. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I think the same thing happens in Shovel Knight from what I've played, is you face somebody at the beginning that's really strong, and then you actually face them for real at the end, but I don't remember. Okay.
Yes, you are correct.
Yeah, because that's where Shovel Knight got it from, was Mega Man X. But,
well,
as is pretty
Shovel Knight's the better Mega Man, in my opinion.
It's pretty good. But, so, now in episode 3, they solved everything, but then like they solved the nuclear strike thing, but then the nuke, how they saved it is they routed it because it was already in the air, so they just rerouted it up into the atmosphere and exploded it up there, which, as you know, being military scientists, both of you, causes an EMP that like took everything out from all of the electricity out in Tokyo, which if you're currently inside of the internet in Tokyo, spits you out and you don't get to be in the internet anymore. So he's like, well, I guess my Digimon adventure's over, yada, yada, yada. End of episode 3, they go to summer camp and end up in the digital world, which was episode 1 of the original show. So what seemed like, wow, we're so fast, we're already on the movie in episode 2, was actually, oh God, we're so slow, we haven't even gotten to episode 1 yet. And so
that's cool.
Next week will be the first like episode of Digimon, and these first 3 have just been inciting incident, cool shit, and I'm digging it. It's really fucking cool. But yeah,
that's cool. No, it's cool. Thank you for sharing.
Good for you.
Yeah. One other thing, because it has taken over my life since I've been on leave, but I have a new favorite band. I'm going to go ahead and say it. They have passed up Blink-182. Like, I am serious about how awesome they are. They are called Humpback. They are a Japanese all-female emo pop-punk band, and they are fucking phenomenal. Everyone should go.
Humpback, like the whale?
Yes. Their logo is a really cute whale, but its body is made out of the cursive that says Humpback, and it's really, really cool. The only problem with Humpback is they don't have any releases in America, so I had to bootleg their stuff. And Momoko, if you're listening, I'm sorry that I bootlegged your music. It's just really good, and I had to hear it somehow. But They have a couple music videos that you can listen to legally on YouTube, and then the aforementioned bootlegs. But about 2 weeks ago, they had a coronavirus benefit concert that was online and socially distant. So they were all like in opposite corners of the room while they were playing and everything. And it came on at 4:00 in the morning, and I stayed up until 4:00 to watch them. So I am serious when I
That's
say
cool as hell.
They
I
are
haven't
my,
listened
they
to
are my
new
new
music
favorite
in a
bands.
while because I've been like too depressed listening to new music. So maybe I'll check them out.
Yeah, I sent you one song of theirs just on a whim like 3 months ago, but I don't think I
probably didn't listen to it.
I guarantee you didn't, because it wasn't like we were in the middle of a conversation. It was just like, dude, check this shit out at like 1:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, I probably just didn't. Or I did and forgot about it. But that's cool, though. Super, super cool. FYI, my week is mostly uneventful. I did have a major panic attack like last Tuesday because of a life crisis. It turns out it's not that the life crisis isn't happening, because it actually is. But I realized that, you know what, life goes on. It's not the end of the world.
Nice. That's a really hard lesson to learn.
So, yeah. It wasn't like... It's funny, though. It wasn't like, oh, the thing I thought was happening, I was overreacting. It's like, no, it's bad and it sucks. But, like, oh well.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. I'll just say, I lost my health insurance again.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure.
I hate to see it.
I'm really
That's
confused
unfortunate.
about what happened exactly or why, but I'm pretty sure that it happened. But the thing is, I have 3 refills of my 3-month each supply of hormones. So the number one issue for me having health insurance, aka getting my moans, is fine. I have like 9 fucking months worth of moans. And as far as my mental health, I've got plans to resolve those problems as well. I'm already looking into stuff that don't require having, like active health insurance. There's other stuff you can do for like psychiatry, There's various programs, and like organizations that can help people out for psychiatry and mental health. So like, it's gonna be fine. It was just a big shock,
Yeah.
And was super frustrating and annoying.
Yeah, you hate to see it.
What was I going to say? Yeah. And, like, by the time any of this stuff becomes a problem, like, by the time my hormones are about to actually run out or whatever, I probably will have another job.
Yeah.
So.
It'll be fine. You will be...
So that was pretty much my week. Also playing a bitch ton of Final Fantasy VII Remake because it's fantastic.
It's so delightful. And like...
It's like... I don't know if I want to hit Game of the Year because I don't know if it edges out Animal Crossing. You know what? Yeah, no. For me, this is Game of the Year for me. I think already.
Yeah.
I know it's only April. This is Game of the Year. It's so good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to see how Cyberpunk is, but I'm pretty certain this might be my Game of the Year as well. Which is weird because like I don't like Final Fantasy VII that much, but the more I play this one, the more I appreciate the old one, which is crazy how it works like that.
Yeah, no, it's a great game. Square, I think it's a very worthy follow up to FF15.
Yeah.
It has it's very different tonally. FF15 is built on realism, I guess, and I don't want to say groundedness because it's got like crazy anime nonsense, but like the performances, they talk like real people. It's very adult. It deals with a mature adult like emotions and relationships and nuance, and this is like screaming anime nonsense, but it's stupendously well done screaming anime nonsense. And yeah, it's great, and I love it.
Heidegger John DiMaggio?
Oh, I don't think so. If it was, it'd be better.
Because
I
it
actually think
sounds
Heidegger's
a lot
fucking
like him,
sucks. I can't say
but
his
it's not
performance,
good.
actually.
Yeah.
That's like the one blight on the voice acting.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I was like, if it is, it's his worst performance. Which is saying
ever.
Which
Yeah.
is
The rest of the voice acting, I didn't like a lot of it at first, but by the end, I was like, I've really come around to this. Wow, I really think this is great voice acting now that I've played 20 hours of the game.
Yeah.
Heidegger, though, every time he talks, I'm just like, God, it's way too much.
Yeah.
There's no way John DiMaggio wouldn't do us like that.
He was equally bad in Disenchanted though. So
It is John DiMaggio.
yeah.
Oh no! I never watched Disenchanted because it looked ugly.
I just looked it up on IMDb, and yeah, there he is.
That's a disappointment because he's seriously like, I absolutely cannot stand whenever he talks.
Yeah,
in the game.
that is unfortunate. Sometimes John DiMaggio doesn't John DiMaggio his best. You know,
Well,
that's the way.
I feel like it's
life
mostly
is.
the voice the direction. Like someone clearly has to be telling him to be doing that, to be doing what he's doing, and it's just it's so much. Also, why would you hire John DiMaggio for Heidegger? Frankly,
Yeah, there's a lot of like celebrity names that are bit parts in this game, and it's wild. Like Wedge is Breaking Bad man, and
he's great.
But it's just like weird.
Like you know who John DiMaggio could have been?
Barrett.
Biggs. I'm not saying the guy who's Biggs isn't great, but like that character also could have been John DiMaggio easily.
He also could have been Barrett, TBH. Like
TBQH, but
He would have been a good Barrett.
Yeah.
Huh?
But
He would have been a good Barrett.
Yeah, but no, they have him as Heidegger giving the most over-the-top villain ham performance, but like not in a fun way. It's just grating.
yeah. Anywho, let's talk about
enough about talking about the literal one bad thing about an otherwise incredible game. Speaking of otherwise incredible games that have one bad thing, let's talk about Chrono Trigger and a dungeon that it has.
I was going to say, and its run animation.
But see, nice little segue I just did there.
That was really good.
Yeah, I have found that this is the second thing I dislike greatly about this game.
I had a rough go of it as well. But first, we will listen to probably some track from the future. I haven't decided which, but it's not going to be Robo's theme because that's going in memorable moments.
Of course.
We'll listen to some Chrono Trigger music, and then we will get started. All right, when last we left our heroes, we were thrown in jail for up to 3 days and promised execution at the end of it. So we said, fuck that. And
Well, no, we sat around in jail for 3 days and then got taken away to the fucking guillotine.
Is that what happens?
Yes.
So I've never actually waited to get rescued. Eli, please tell us what happens.
I didn't know you could.
Wait, you can leave?
Yeah,
You can leave?
You just bang on the gate, and the guard comes in to shut you up, and then you have your swords. So you swords him.
Oh. So I did that a couple of times, but I was like, well, that's not working. They just keep telling me the same thing, so I'm just going to sit here.
They don't, though. It's a different line of dialogue each time, which is how you know to keep doing it.
You sit around a lot, and there's like this weird monster noise that keeps playing every now and then. I was like, what the fuck is that? I didn't know what it was. I couldn't tell.
Wild.
But, yeah, so I'm just, like, puttering around, like, and it's, like, 2 days until the execution, and I'm just puttering around some more. I'm like, all right, well, I guess this is my life now. I've just got to wait here 1 day until execution. Okay, cool. Well, at least time is progressing, apparently. And then they come, and they grabbed me, and then... Like, there's this whole cutscene where they take me across a bridge. They've got me in handcuffs. I look all sad.
What the hell?
Because I can't run like a dumbass. Yeah, they dragged me up through their, like... They took me on the whole, last walk of shame or whatever it is when you're heading to death row.
The walk of shame is a different thing.
Cool. Yes. You know what I mean. There's another guy in a guillotine that I saw, that we passed, and then they bring me up to this room, and they've got me there, and like it's right over my head, and they're about to pull the thing, and then Luca busts in and zaps everyone and puts them to sleep, and she's like, I'm fucking busting you out of here. And then we make our escape, and I can take things off of guards' bodies that she's put down. and I can save the guy in the guillotine, and he's like, come find me at the marketplace. And I'm like, I'd love to, but I bet I'm gonna be going back in time, or forward in time, or somewhere in time.
Wow.
That rules. That's again, in all my times of playing this game, I knew you could do that. I just never bothered
I
to try
didn't
doing
even know
that.
you could do that, because if I were in real prison, I would be shaking on the bars and the guards came in and beat my ass.
Let me out! Let me out!
If for no other reason than to be a nuisance, like you might as well make a nuisance of yourself,
Yeah.
right?
So yeah, that's what you do. You go and you bang on the doors a lot. The guards come in to shut you up, and you just walk past them, and they're like, "Hey, you can't do that." And you're like,
and you've got
like,
swords.
I have sword, so
you fuck them up.
Fuck them up, and then it's like this cool stealth-ish sequence if you want it to be. Like you can just walk right up to them and fight the trash mobs if you want. But if you sneak up on them,
I killed a lot of people.
but if you sneak up on them,
I probably should have been executed.
but if you sneak up on them, you like hit them in the back of the head with your sword and knock them out, and so you can skip fights that way.
Yeah,
which is really cool.
I didn't know you could
I don't know
do
if
that.
you noticed this, Sam, but if they turn around and you get them from behind and knock them out, you can also click on their body, and most of them, and they're all holding items.
Nice. I didn't even try.
You get a lot of fucking mid tonics,
Yeah, I
and
got a bunch of
ethers,
those.
or whatever they're called. You get a bunch of items just from high tonic. That's it. Just from clicking on all the guards.
Hi, Tonic.
Just from clicking on all the guards' bodies. Yeah, it's a really fun scene. I really love the ambiance, the sound design. There's no music. It's all just like dripping water and stuff like that. Eli, if you
Oh, there was frantic fucking music for mine.
Yeah, because you were escaping.
that explains it.
So when Luca shows up for us, because of course she does, we're about to make our way out, and the warden's there, and
like you're almost out of the
warden's there, and he's like, "Shit, guards!" And you're like, about that. Kind of killed them all, and then he's like, "Eek!" It tries to run away, and then he gets like bitch slapped back from the door, and Luca comes in and is like, "I'm getting you out of here," and then you immediately fight the dragon tank. Like it is one screen away from the dragon tank when Luca shows up.
Yeah, and she's like, "I'm getting you out of here." Oh, there you are. Good job. I guess you got yourself out. Nice.
Yeah, when I finally got up to the warden's office, he was passed out, and I took a bunch of mid tonics from him.
Oh, you still got them. Good. Yeah. You get 5, which is super cool.
I got none of these
great.
things, but also the game's not hard, so it's not a big deal.
I made sure to explore the whole place. There was one place where I ran into this big, like, juggernaut-looking guy, and he's like, "I'll never let you escape." And I kicked his ass, and then he ran away like a pansy.
Yeah. You know, I was going to mention this in a real moment, but since you already brought it up, that big giant's name is Omicron, which of course I could only think of Omicron per CIA.
CIA, yes.
Love it. But yeah, this dungeon is one of my most memorable bits of this game, and I don't really even know why. Yeah. It's just sticky in my memory. It's not like
it's just fucking
It's not like the best. It's not like the worst. It's kind of just like a thing that happens, but it's dope of it. So.
Well, I'll tell you why it feels memories. It's because of in my opinion at least, it's because of what they do with that fucking side angle on the bridge, man. Is. That's such wonderful, evocative graphics. Like the fact that you can do that because JRPG angle, like side angle perspective never really makes sense anyway. But because of the weird perspective that these games use, you can do top down, like 3/4 angle view. But you can also just as effectively use those sprites as side angle sprites. So shifting to that beautiful view of running across the bridge with like the horizon in the background, it's just cool as fuck.
Yeah. Love it. It's good. So after Luca breaks us out, either immediately or after the rest of the dungeon, depending on how you got out of your cell, you fight the dragon tank. And it's really cool. It's the first boss battle of the game that has multiple parts to it. It is,
which in the future is most bosses.
This is kind of your tutorial for that. So you whack it with a sword, which I was going to save this for memorable moments. But did you guys all find the manual for the?
Yes,
yes.
Super cool.
So
yeah, I'm very glad that I found the manual because otherwise I I would have been just whacking at that body and watching it heal and been like, this is
I love
really
it
terrible.
how it's like it's immune to fire magic and lightning magic and water magic, so it's pretty much indestructible unless you're stupid and just hit it in the head with a sword. And I'm like, look at me, I'm dumb. I'm gonna go hit it in the head with a sword.
Yeah, luckily, Chrono being Goku is like. Luckily, that's my first response to anything. Is to hit it with my sword. One thing I like is that it's still puzzly because they say, "Oh, the head heals. You'll never beat it unless you kill the head." But the thing is, that's still not all there is to it because specifically the head heals as a reaction if you attack someone else. So you can't use your whirlwind slash.
Yeah.
Because if you use your whirlwind slash, it'll react and heal. But if you don't use your whirlwind slash, then it'll only heal on its turn, unless it's attacking on its turn. And that was something very interesting. I actually, this boss actually took me two tries.
Oh, weird.
I've been playing this game very fast and loose. I've actually game overed a couple times because I'm always just like, I'm not going to use a tonic. I'm just going to keep attacking. You know, like, oh, I've only got 30 health. I bet I'll beat them before they kill me, and then they kill me, right?
That
so
never
I've been playing very aggressively, but it's fun to play that way. Also, new thing I'm doing for this game, I'm skipping as many battles as I can. This game's pretty easy, so like, why not try to make the game? Why not try to skip battles? It's fun to skip battles, and it's fun to do low level fighting. So that's what I've been trying this time around.
Nice. So after you take down the tank, the Chancellor and two mooks pop out of it, and they fall down and make a bridge that you then walk across to escape, and it's great. It's so like cartoony, like SpongeBob cartoony, not even anime cartoony.
Yeah.
But then when you get downstairs, the guards are like, stop them, but we're the guards that suck, so we're just going to crowd our bodies around you and make it really annoying to move instead of actually trying to stop you. And you get like 6 or 7 of them all pushing you around, and then Princess Nadia, aka Marl, shows up and is like, hey, leave my friends alone. And they're like, oh shit, it's the princess. So they bow, and you just run out while they're not doing anything. And the Chancellor's like, why'd y'all let them get away? And they're dumb.
Sam, you're missing a little bit. Her dad.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I was scrolling through the screenshots and I missed it. So her dad does show up, and
yeah, because she says, "Hey guards, let him go. I'm the queen. I'm the princess. You gotta listen to me." And they're like, "Oh, what do we do?" Right? And then the dad shows up and is like, all right, daughter of mine, stop being crazy. You know, like, he basically is just like, you're running around outside the castle, you're getting crazy ideas. You need to be more of a. You need to take your princessly duties more seriously. You know, just given the typical like I'm disappointed in you parent speech, when their kids being rebellious, and then she's like, you know what, screw you, dad. So she changes into her normal clothes in a flash, and then she
changes into her much worse outfit and leaves.
Yeah, I don't actually. You know what? I've come around. I used to really hate her sprite. I just thought it was like a fucking like blob.
She's an NPC, man.
It didn't work.
She's an NPC.
I've actually come around. I don't know. I can't really defend the sprite. I don't know what my argument would be as to why it's good, actually. But I've actually decided that I love it.
But yeah, so then y'all leave, and the guards are still kneeling down, and they're like, "What?" Chancellor's like, after them, and so they leave. But you make it out into the forest, and they trap you in a dead end, which there's no way to go, but of course there's a gate, and they're sitting there still not attacking yet, and the Chancellor's like, fucking grab them, and we're just sitting there listening to Lucas theme / the battle victory fanfare, and we're just like, yeah, we did it, we're the best, we can get out of here. Hopefully they don't stop us in the 10 minutes it takes us to talk about how gates work so we can open it up and leave. It's so good. I love it. So and then
you activate the gate, and then you go through, and then you immediately go back because the game doesn't stop you from doing that.
It doesn't? Again?
I'll tell you later. I've been pushing against this game's funneling like constantly, and I'll share all kinds of fun things about it later.
Cool. But, yeah, so you hop through, and everything's chrome. And you know what that means? Future.
Future.
Gotta say, year 2300 fucking sucks.
It is really bleak. They do a great job of making it just be the absolute fucking shittiest.
This is the year 2300 makes me really glad that I'm going to be hella dead, and also probably the world will, because I don't want to live in this shithole. But Luca hops up and is like, "Oh shit! Everything's super advanced. It's almost like we're in another world. Therefore, this is going to be the future. Get ready for this shit." And you hop outside, and instead of the beautiful clouds and birds that we talked about last time, it's ash and dust, and it's bleak.
And great foreground effects. Like, everything is covered in a thick layer of smoke. It's very dim. It's hard to see anything.
Love it. So yeah, this is now about Fallout, the great 1997 and computer RPG, and
it's a fucking great game.
Really
It's a fucking great game.
For some reason, my mind immediately went to Fallout Boy. I don't know why,
Boy.
but this is now about Fallout Boy.
I got really into Fallout a couple years before Bethesda announced that they were making Fallout 3. So when I got into Fallout, they hadn't made a Fallout game in years, right? So it was not at all in the popular consciousness. So yeah, when I got really into it, I'd be Googling Fallout, and all I would get was shit about Fallout Boy. And I was just like, no, I'm talking about the game that came out a fucking decade ago.
So the first place that we head to after we make it out to the world map is Maddie's favorite place in the whole game, the Tran Dome.
This podcast is the Tran Dome almost, if we kick Sam out.
So
if we ever do make a podcast with just us,
be the
Maddie,
Tran Dome.
we need it to be called the Tran Dome.
Oh, okay. Specifically, if it's like a trans-only video game podcast,
Yes.
the Tran Dome.
Love it. So yeah, you make it inside of the Tran Dome, and this guy, first thing that happens is the guy asks you if you have cash, and you're like, yeah, I have Gil. And he's like, what the fuck is that? Oh, well, you can still buy shit with it. I'm like, that's not how that would work. If I show up with just...
Well, I guess he's just like, I guess it's just shiny metal. Like, sure, I'll take it. Better, I guess I could probably do something with this. You know, it makes sense to me.
But, yeah, he's the item shop. Then you talk to everybody, and it's fucking bleak. I could read every single one of these text boxes, but it's depressing. It's...
At least tell us about the Energizer.
Yeah, so... as you talk to everyone, they're basically like, yeah, shit fucking sucks, and we have no food. All we have is the Intertron, and what the Intertron does is it heals your body, and it gives you basically a full night's sleep worth of energy in a couple seconds, but it doesn't make you any less hungry. And it's like, fuck.
Yeah. This line of dialogue is actually really famous. It literally says, you use it and you go in it and it says HP MP restored, and it's like the typical line you get where it says HP MP restored with a little jingle sound, and then it says, and then that dialogue box goes away, and then there's another dialogue box and it just says, but you're still hungry.
Still hungry.
And Lacona kind of looks down all like sad. And I'm like, imagine just feeling like you're dying of starvation all the time, even if you're like literally like not, because you have the Intertron. That would, God.
Like, at what point is enough, and you give up and you don't go in the Intertron anymore? Like,
it would fucking suck. It's fucking bleak.
It's so fucking bleak. 2300 fucking sucks. We should stop all of our green initiatives so that the world explodes before 2300, because it's not worth it.
Well, at least in this case, the reason it happened is because... Well, never mind. The reason why this happened doesn't line up with our timeline,
so we're already past this timeline at least. But yeah, so they mention how they don't have any food, but Aerith Dome on the other side of the Site 16 has it. And what I think is hilarious is both this Eris Dome and Eris from Final Fantasy VII are both mistranslations of a pun on the word Earth. They just spelled this one Aris.
Oh, I was gonna make a joke where I said something like Trandome, Eris Dome. What is this? Is this Chrono Trigger or is it my week?
My week playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. But yeah, so we make our way into Site 16, which is it's the type of dungeon we were talking about in the Discord today, where it's a lowercase d dungeon. It's a thing to do, but it's not necessarily like a set piece. It's just
a traveling dungeon.
Yeah.
You're going from one place to another, and you have to have some stuff in between. But it's literally 2 screens.
Yeah,
right. Not 2 screens of your display. I mean, it's 2 different areas with a load. Yeah,
and that's about it. But there are little mices everywhere that steal your shit, and I at least couldn't find a place to then kill them and take it all back. So I think they just take your potions.
No, I figured they were doing that Lost Odyssey thing. I'm pretty sure it's just like, no, just like avoid them. Don't touch them.
Yeah, which is cool. But yeah, there's good equipment in there. The future has a lot of really good equipment, and I decked my people the fuck out. Love it. So you make your way through, and you get to Aerith Dome, and it has a lot of people in it that are all standing around this hatch in the floor, and they're like, yeah, down this hatch is our food stores. Everything is going to be great as soon as we get down there, but there's monsters, so we only sent our strongest guy, but surely he'll be back any second now. He's only been gone for 11 years or something. I don't know.
Did they say that?
I don't remember how long, but it's been like a lot.
I feel like every single day is the same, and you don't have to work like work or anything. You just are miserable and get in the inner drawn sometimes. Mm-hmm. You would probably lose track of the passage of time.
Yeah. So you
also, it's one of the kids' dad, obviously. Yeah. When's my daddy coming home?
Of course.
You know.
And so, you...
It's all designed to make you as sad as fucking possible.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, you, of course, being plucky JRPG protagonists, are like, well, we can go down and beat up some monsters and get you guys your food. So, you...
Our sprites have colors.
Yeah, everything is like a deliciously sad shade of brown in the future. It is bleak as hell. But so you make your way downtown, and there's a small. This LP went out in a weird ass order. They just went, instead of going down into the fridge, they went into the sewer side quest right now.
That's stupid.
So stupid.
At least do that later. Like,
yeah, why the hell would you do that right now? It does not even make any sense. It's not even in your way. Like, you literally stopped talking to people. I'm having to scroll through so much shit to be able to get back to where we are.
So you go through this dungeon while you're scrolling that has 0 bosses, or 0 enemies for the first bit, which is really interesting. You have a dungeon with 0 enemies. You literally just run on some rafters and you get some cool FF6 style. It's literally like, yeah, we made FF6 like a year ago. We know that you can run on a rafter and see something underneath you that's smaller and it looks cool. And there's a mouse, a rat, but it's actually a statue of a rat, which is stupid.
Yeah, because it's not actual statue that you find out in a second.
Well, yeah, so you just run through a very short dungeon with literally no enemies, and then you get to a room where some plot happens.
Yeah. So in that room, down comes a big robot, and the robot is like initiating command sequence. We're gonna beat you up, and then you're like, no, I'm gonna beat you up instead, and you fight a boss there. This boss is pretty cool. It is now, if Dragon Tank was the tutorial on sometimes you have to beat a thing first, this is the test, because you have 2 little dorks that you have to destroy, or he'll AoE attack everybody.
Fuck those dorks.
Yeah, Eli, how'd this boss go for you?
I mean, I passed the test.
First try?
I immediately knew. I was like, I gotta kill those little bastards. I hate them.
Yep. I died on my first try on, I think, every single boss in the game so far.
I have not gamed over yet. I had a couple of times where one of my characters died, but I was able to revive them because
Nice.
I've been stocking up on things, and I've been using tonics like fucking crazy. Normally I hold on to items for dear life because I'm some sort of weird digital hoarder. It's kind of a wonder I'm not a hoarder in real life because, like, you should see my retainers in Final Fantasy XIV. I have 5 of them. You have to pay extra if you want more than 2. I can't bring myself to get rid of things because I'm terrible. Regardless, not the point. In any case, I got through it in one try. It was
Nice.
It was a little rough, like when the little dorks, as Sam called them, came back, because like there's a countdown that starts, and so like I just tried to get through the attack thing as fast as possible. I was fucking mashing that button.
Yeah. See,
And,
that's oh, go on. Should continue, please. Sorry.
Oh yeah, but I was able to kill it fast enough. So.
This boss has the same problem that I believe the first boss in Final Fantasy VI has, where there's a time when you can attack the boss and a time when you can't. If you attack the boss when his buddies are out, they do a really nasty retaliation attack against you that hits everyone for fuck ton damage.
Yeah.
The problem is you might queue up a bunch of attacks against him. Like all 3 of your people you've hit attack, and then Chrono attacks. And then after Chrono attacks, the dorks come back. And your other 2 attacks are already queued up against the bitch. So then you have to suffer that all attack twice and you die because you're me. FF6's lightning whelk enemy has the same issue.
Yeah.
So what you gotta do is you just gotta be really careful and like hold off a second and just not be too aggressive. Like, you know what, maybe I should just have one person attack and then wait. And then if it seems like nothing's happening, then I'll have my next person attack, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, you just gotta think for like 1 second, which is hard for me.
I also wanted to mention I chose the wait battle style instead of the active. I don't know that it works because it definitely will continue having enemies attack me while I'm choosing to do stuff.
It is particularly the Final Fantasy version of wait, which is ATB wait, and not removing the ATB from happening. You have to be inside of a sub menu when it will wait. So if you click magic, it'll then let you pick what magic you want to do. But also, this game is 15 times better on active because you can set your cursor to memory, so it'll automatically queue up X Strike on Chrono's turn, and then you just keep mashing until it's Frog's turn, and then it'll go through immediately. Waiting for dual text is kind of weird and wonky on wait. I only like playing.
I didn't know
active.
that the dual text thing would. I didn't know that would be affected by wait, so I'll switch it to active then. Because I was like, active's going to be harder. But no, I have to sit there outside of the menu
waiting for the turns.
For my other friends' battle timers. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the way this works is you're literally got your menu open, and X Strike is like grayed out, and then the second it's. And then in the background, of course, you can't see it, but the ATB's filling. And then as soon as it does fill, it stops being grayed out. And you're just like, cool, bam, nice.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of this week doing that, waiting for like whirlwind being the first all attack that you get, right? The combo between Chrono and new character.
Yeah. It's Supersonic Swirl in the Slattery version, which is really cool.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
But yeah, so we kill the Guardian, and it disappears, and we walk into the refrigerator, and everything's rotten in the fridge. There's no power.
It's really
this
gross.
shit wasn't depressing enough already.
There's nothing down there, and except for a corpse, because they gotta make, like, not only is everyone above going to starve for the rest of eternity, there's also a dead person. So let's just be dark. So Marl, of course, goes and investigates the dead body and finds a seed, as well as.
Marl will do anything.
Marl is always Marl like goes into any room and is like, I want to do a perception check.
Yeah. And so she gets a seed from him, and he also get a scrap of paper that says delete my internet history. No. No.
This is my last wish.
No, that joke was actually in this Let's Play. Shout out to LP Archive user Leave My Wife. That's a really good joke.
It is really good.
But the note says that the rat outside is more than just a statue. It actually knows the secret to this dome. You have to catch it.
I hate that rat.
Yeah, it is.
I hate that rat so much.
It's harder than it needs to be. Like, it is some very tight maneuvering on these rafters to actually catch it, and it sucks. I missed it like 3 times, I think. But
the rat was the first point.
Well, I may be a bimbo who can't beat a boss without dying, but I was able to easily catch that rat, so I'm glad I'm good at something.
Good for you.
I'm glad I'm good at something.
The rat was the first of a couple of points this week where I was like, maybe I need to end my game and just watch the Let's Play.
Yeah.
But I got through it. I did it.
The rat sucks.
Everything that happens in the future is kind of
terrible.
Like not just now, but when you go to the future again later.
Oh, God.
It is a just more friction-y time period.
Yeah.
It's more Undertale. The game is trying to stop you from playing it.
So it's I actually like that it's bullshit, because you're supposed to hate this future for both plot reasons and like they pull that into the gameplay a lot, and I like it because I'm like I don't want to make the future happen, because the future stays with the bullshit Mode 7 racing game that's inscrutable.
I hate that game. Oh God, that was the second point where I was like, guess I can't play anymore.
Wait, you don't have to win though, right?
Yes, you do.
I'm 99% sure you can just, there's like a little dungeon you can go to.
Yeah, if you walk off to the right, you just it's kind of hard because the big cute hourglass shaped mutants, you have to face like 6 of them at a time type thing. Like, it's hard, but
because I also did that and I thought, what the fuck?
No, so if you beat him in the race, it drops you off on the other end, and you don't have to do that dungeon.
Yeah.
Except I left and then came back and
yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that minigame is to skip the dungeon. Apparently you did both. That's really funny.
Yep.
I did both in case there was an item there. But that's just because
I thought about that, but
I did both because I'm an idiot.
So we catch the rat, and we're not even close to Johnny yet. But we catch the rat, and he tells us the password, which I remembered wrong, so I had to go and catch the fucking rat again to see what the password was. But
I had to change the settings on my emulator because apparently my computer doesn't let me hit 3 buttons at once.
You got one of them.
It wasn't that hard, but I had to do that.
You got one of them PS2 keyboards under there, not a USB one, huh? But
no, it's literally this is a fucking MacBook. Seriously, a MacBook keyboard can't handle more than 2 inputs at once. That's apparently
wild, but doesn't surprise me. I'm in IT.
I had a controller.
Macs are horrible.
They are. I don't like this thing at all.
But anywho, so so we go to the supercomputer and we put in the password. And it opens the door, because that's not actually the supercomputer yet. It lied to you. And then you fight some mooks in a tall, scrawny little room and make it back to the actual supercomputer. And Luca looks it up and is like, oh, we're going to look for some temporal distortions, because that's a thing that you can just Google in the future. And Marl is like, cool, but what's this button do? And she pulls up that dude's internet history, and it is a visual record of the year 1999, which is marked as when...
The distant future.
The distant future. The year 2000.
But came out in 95, so, 99 was like, yeah.
The distant future. But... it's marked as the day that Lavos shows up, which reminds me, looking at these screenshots of the DS version, did y'all have cool screen-wide glitches here, or is that a DS remake FMV cheat?
Wait, did it go like widescreen?
No, it like scan
There's
scan
there's
line
little
malfunctions.
screen blips.
Okay.
Yeah, like little green blips or something on the screen.
I don't remember. I mean, the graphics were cool as heck, but I don't remember anything specifically about it.
Okay.
Yeah,
because
I know what you're
when I
talking
saw
about.
it, it felt too HD for a SNES game. It felt like it was something they might have added in the DS or PS1 versions. But if you don't remember it, it probably either happened and just wasn't a big deal, or it did happen, and who knows. But Eli seems.
I feel like I remembered it, but I may be getting Mandela affected.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Anywho, in the video, we see right outside of the dome where we are, the floor just opens up in a giant ass volcano, and Sonic the Hedgehog comes out.
Nothing personnel, kid.
Just a big spiky hedgehog of doom, and it destroys the whole goddamn planet. And that's why the future sucks so bad.
The monster itself is bad, but when he shows up, it just starts raining lava or raining meteors all across the planet. So just everything is completely destroyed because of this monster that maybe was living in the Earth's fucking mantle or something.
Yeah. And Suka's like, oh shit, is Lavos the thing that destroyed the world in the year 1999, which is 1,000 years after where we're from? Is this really going to be the future? And Marl has a awesome sprite of her crying, saying it can't be, I don't believe it. I don't know if you remember that
Oh,
sprite,
yeah, it was great.
but it's
It
amazing.
cannot be.
God. I really think it's great that Eli made that reference and not Sam.
But and so the everyone's like, well, shit, this can't be the way the world ends, and we decide, you know what? Since we're time travelers, let's be JRPG heroes and let's save the goddamn planet and kill a fucking god. And we're like, hell yeah! And we now have our end goal. That's what we're trying to do.
We now have the plot of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lavos is the name of this. Oh, I think you already said it. Sorry.
Yes.
But yeah, it's called Lavos.
Yeah, and so we decide to do it, and then Dart's theme from from Legend of Dragoon starts. This feels like a scene that it would do that, but I said Final Fantasy and I ruined that whole joke.
Good job.
Let's just cut that part out. We'll just not have.
That means you're not cutting it.
I know. That's my rule. But so yeah, they're like, okay, all right. Well, we have we found a temporal distortion over in the Proto-Man Dome, so we're going to go there and go back in time and stop Lavos. Everything will be fine. And so we make our way back through, and we come upstairs, and everyone's like, "You're back. Where's our dad and our food and our friends?" And we're like, "Yeah, here's a seed. Go and pick yourself up by the bootstraps and solve world hunger with one seed."
I hope you know how to do how to do plants.
Because
actually, I think at some point in the maybe I'm mixing up my games, but I feel like at some point in the game, maybe later in the game or something, they're like, "Oh, there's a computer that has all the stuff we need to know about agriculture on it," or something like that.
I don't know.
There's only 200 more years left to go before they start trying to use Brondo to water their crops. It's got what plants crave.
Anywho.
But yeah, so you give them their seed, and they feel
like-
like there's a little bit of hope for the world.
Yeah, and it's actually really sweet. But so you give them hope, and they're like, we're going to grow it. Everything's going to be great. You guys go off through Protodome and pass through Site 32 and take this jet bike key with you. And now it's Mad Max. So we make our way over to Site 32, where we meet this man-robot guy named Johnny, who's half motorcycle, and he's awesome. He's the coolest character in this game. I wish he had his own game. Because
he wears sunglasses. He's got he looks like a Transformer is what he looks like. Because
he does transform.
He
does transform. Here's a GIF.
I just forgot that like a dummy. So there we go. He is a Transformer.
Yeah, it's great. He's so cool, and he shows up and he beats a bunch of mooks for you, and hey, what's up? I just beat these guys up, so now we can race in a jet bike race. And you're like, okay, cool. And then a cheesy tacked on Mode 7 minigame happens. And yeah. That's really, about that.
It's really dumb. What happens is it's a quote unquote race, but the thing is it's 100% rubber banded because the screen's always just scrolling at the same rate. And so basically you get 3 boosts. So you literally just wait till you're almost at the end.
And spam the boost button.
And then, literally a second before you get to the finish line, you hit the boost button. And then you win. It is a little bit tough. You don't want to do it too early or too late. But you see that you're coming up on the end, you're just like, okay, boost. It's weird. It's dumb. The graphics are pretty cool, though.
Yeah. What I want to see, this... this one in the in RetroArch's HD Mode 7. I wonder if it looks cool as shit in HD Mode 7.
Overall, this game is not as fun as Final Fantasy VII snowboarding. Just gonna throw that one out there.
No, not at all. But it is more fun than Final Fantasy VII remakes. I did not like the way they treated that minigame in remake.
Wait, what minigame? You mean the motorcycle?
Yes. I didn't like it.
I thought it was fucking great. Anyway, whatever. We're not talking about that game.
Not yet.
We're talking about a different Final Fantasy game.
Yes. Yes. The Dragon Quest Final Fantasy game. So, you leave off the other side, or if you're Eli, you walk back through and fight.
Earlier you were being self-deprecating and saying that you did it because you're an idiot. But Sam did it on purpose, so who's the bigger idiot?
I guess you're right.
Before Site 32, did you do the sewer side quest, Eli?
Yes.
Did you go through the sewers?
Actually, okay. I did go through the sewers.
Oh, nice.
So
I ended up at a mountain that I couldn't go to.
The sewers aren't required until side quest time at the end, but they're paced for you to do it on accident right now. So you're kind of meant to do it on accident. So
yeah, it's interesting. I think this might be the first time I've ever done it at this point in the game.
Weird. It must be super easy to come and do it at side quest time. You
just
at the end of the
demolish every enemy.
Yeah. So you go into the sewers, which are on the way to Death Peak, and in the sewers there's some tiny mooks that are talking about their boss and like, oh, we need to go and report to our boss or something, and you follow them around, and it's just a comedy of errors.
It's just cute dungeon stuff.
But the main point of this is this is the second biggest Undertale of the whole game. Eli, did you get trolled by this dungeon?
Yes, I ran into all the things that make noise, and then I found the note that said, "Don't make noise."
How does this dungeon troll you?
Okay, so what this dungeon does is you come in.
Yeah, I did all of them, but I also kind of did it on purpose because I just wanted to.
So there's a note or a dude or something at the beginning that's like, this place sucks. It's so scary. If you make any sort of noise, the fishmen will attack. And so you come down this ladder, and there's a kitty cat, and you're like,
I pet that kitty cat.
Hey, kitty cat, let me pet it. And it meows, and the fishmen show up and fight you. And then you're going by, and there's a piece of cheese that if you walk on it, it's squeaky. and it makes the fishman show up, and you fight it, and then you keep
and I
walking.
found
And
this can of soda, and I tried to pick it up and drink it, and it's like, nope, I'm gonna kick it into this other thing, and I'm like,
and you kick it,
all right.
and the fishmen show up. So then you're like, oh great, a save point. I'm safe. And you walk to the save point, and it goes, ring, and the fishmen show up and fight you.
And
That
the
part was fucking
So
great.
good.
The fucking save disappears, and I'm like, this game is just consistently fucking with me. Like,
It's so
I
good.
didn't know that they did that in 1995.
Yeah, they're having.
Yeah,
I mean, it kind of makes sense. I mean, like they've already made so many JRPGs for the Super Nintendo. At this point, they're just like, okay, let's have some fun with this, you guys.
Yeah, this is the other one I was talking about last week, and I was like, oh, there's something next week that is the other time that the Undertale of this game will fuck with you instead of just being flavor text. And it was that save point joke. It's so good. I love it so much. But yeah, so then you fight some more fishmen, and you fight their boss, and you make your way through. There's a lightning blade, I think, for Chrono, which is like 3 shops worth of stuff from now for Chrono. It's real good.
It's
Yeah.
really good.
Oh, I think
Yeah.
Bolt Sword, I think, or something
Yeah.
like that.
Bolt Sword, yeah. Lightning Blade is the slatterification of Bolt Sword, but it owns. And yeah, that was all of that side quest. So we go back on the other side of Site 32.
Wait. Sorry.
Oh.
I wasn't going to mention this stuff, but since we're talking about the side quests anyway, I think we should. In addition, so after you get through this dungeon, there are 2 places you can go. One is this place that was already mentioned earlier called Death Peak. You try to walk up this mountain and you can't because it's too windy. But then you go to this other place, which is called Keeper Dome, or the Keeper's Dome, right? Are you hearing me?
Yes.
There was
Yeah.
Yes, we're
We're
here.
just being
Just letting you
quiet
talk.
so you can talk.
Yeah, well, no, normally there's ambient noise, and there wasn't any ambient noise. Sorry. When that happens, you're like, oh, wait, did something happen, right? So you get to, I was going to do this for more moments, but since we're here, let's do it. This is the Keeper's Dome, and it's all this stuff that doesn't make any sense. And if you know how stories go, you might think, oh, perhaps this is some sort of foreshadowing. There's this old man, and he has this robot, he has this little blue gnome thingy, but the blue gnome says something like, oh, I'm waiting for my final upgrade, master, so maybe it's actually like a robot of some sort, right? I'm not spoiling it. I don't know if he's a robot. I intuited this from the scene. And then the old man says, Scala, ... I've missed you so. And then he mentions Death Peak, and he says, you wouldn't make it very far. It has to be the right time. ... Trail off mysteriously. And then he says, did you see my masterpieces? The Ocean Palace and the Blackbird. I designed and built them both. And then there's a big, cool-looking magical door that is sealed with an unknown energy. So yeah, none of that resolves in anything, but I think it's really cool knowing what comes later in the game, that you can have these little mysterious lines of dialogue with this mysterious character.
Oh yeah. I had forgot about them because I know the what they all refer to, and I just was stored that away as my future brain. I forgot that.
Yeah,
he said all that.
He said all that shit, and I was just like, cool story, bro. And then, like an idiot, I went and tried the door, even though I know I can't open those doors or chests yet. And it's like, it's sealed with a mysterious energy. I'm like, all right, I'll try the next one.
Oh, speaking of which, Eli. Speaking of which, Eli, since we were just talking about Undertale-ness that can fuck you and those doors, you know how 600 AD and 1000 AD are the exact same place, just in a different time. Don't screw yourself out of 2 copies of the item, because you can open it in 1000 AD, then go back and find it in 600 AD, and open it and create a paradox. But who gives a shit about the paradox?
Yeah, you get the item if you open from latest to earliest. It's great.
Yeah, but if you do it the other way, the item won't be there in 1000 AD. So this is me warning you that the time travel rules are intact for those things, so don't let it fuck you because
Hell yeah.
of the
This is going to
undertaleness
be
of
like
this game.
3 episodes or 4 episodes from now, but yeah,
I'm gonna create so many paradoxes.
those chests are a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There's actually one more nuance to them as well, but I'll tell y'all later.
Yeah. The other nuance is really cool, but I want Eli to figure that out by himself. It's not a way to screw yourself. But
Yeah, exactly.
so we go into Protodome, and there's a door that we cannot open, and a robot that is beat up. And if you're like me, you walk into to the room, and you go up to the robot, and you inspect it, and Marl goes, "What's this?" And then the anime kicks in of you walking into the room and Luca seeing it first and running over and instantly starting to fix it. It was so jarring of when they decided to play it. Like if they would have played that when you walk into the room, would have been fine.
It is weird.
But it's like after you walk up and you talk to the robot, then it shows you walking into the room again. But
Weird. Ours, of course, doesn't have anime cutscenes, so we don't have that problem.
Yeah.
yeah. So so far this is the first in-game anime cutscene that's happened. I know of one more that is there's probably a lot more, but I specifically know of one more that's really cool, but I kind of like the sprites better, and I'm kind of mad that I won't get the sprites.
Yeah, that's
Maddie,
the
you
reason
probably
I don't
know the one I'm
like
talking about.
that version of the game as much.
Yeah. But so Luca runs up and is like, "Shit, it's a robot. It's a humanoid robot. So I'm going to fix it." And so you spend some time fixing it, and it does cool things where like montages of her fixing it, and people are just bored around the room, like trying to open doors and fucking with stuff while she's working on it, and it's pretty cool. So the robot finally wakes up. And he's like, "My name is R66Y," and we're like, "We can't call you that. You're our friend. We're going to give you a new name, and that name is R66Y."
The name that?
I do it every single time. Like
That's really
funny.
funny.
Even though I said I'm writing the notes, so I'm going to call Robo and call everybody by their names. I was like, R66Y. I can't not.
I named mine Nard after Bernard.
Nice.
I thought the name Robo was stupid, so I named it Bender.
Bender.
Nice.
Bendr.
I was about to ask if you had to
'Cause you can
truncate it. Nice.
Yeah, you can only have 5 characters, so
Nice. So
No, you
Robo
can only have
wakes
3
up.
characters, as we'll see in a second.
But
Y'all get it.
so Robo wakes up and is like, "Hey, Luca, what's your command?" And she's like, "We don't do that shit. You're our friend." He's like, "Well, that's weird, but okay."
What is friends?
What is friends? Teach a robot to love. But robot's like, we're like, "So robot, how do we get through this door?" And he's like, "Well, there's no power here, so we need to turn the power on at the factory, but for totally legit reasons and not just gameplay contrivances, one of us is going to have to stay behind to open the door so that only 3 of us can go to the factory."
I gotta say, it's a very well conceived plot contrivance, because it's like, oh, the power's only going to be on for a second. Someone's got to open the door. But it is all obviously, yes, it is obviously made up so that you can only have 3 characters in your party.
Yeah. Who did you guys decide to leave behind?
Marl.
Yeah, also Marl. Which is funny,
Yep.
I left Marl behind before I even realized that Robo had heal moves. So I was like,
Same.
no heals, baby, we're doing this.
Yeah, that was actually my thought too. I was like, I'll just go with the fire spin and hope for the best.
I was like, hell yeah, living on the edge, no healers. But then Robo was like, actually, I have a heal. And I'm like, aw, why you gotta ruin things?
Tell you another reason why I'm an idiot. I only just now found out that Bender has a heal. Thank you for letting me know, Maddie. I didn't pay attention.
He's got a good fucking heal, and his dual tech heal is quite good too.
Yeah.
I just kept using a dual tech with Chrono, and so like I never looked at Bender's tech menu.
Screen. Nice. So yeah, Robo joins the party, and you make your way up to the Derelict factory, and then you curse yourselves about 500 times for walking onto the wrong part of the fucking track and getting picked up by the goddamn crane.
I
yeah,
definitely
the
thought this
factory
dungeon was way later in the game. I definitely forgot that it happened this early on. It's annoying as shit.
Yeah, I wiped in this dungeon for the first time of the game because of the crane. Because if you fuck up and you land on the crane, you have to fight like 6 battles with no chance to heal in between. It's just a gauntlet. And
I looked out. It was the very first thing I did
it.
was fuck up. So I was fully healed for the fucking shitty crane gauntlet. And after that point, I was like, well, I'm not going to let that happen again.
Yeah, I died on it. Then the second time, I actually succeeded at that puzzle and made my way through without having to do the crane. But then later, on my way back, when it should be easier, I fucked up and had to do the crane.
Here's a question:
were
any of y'all able to turn off the conveyor belts?
No.
Because at one point there's like a computer or a note somewhere that says like, warning, don't turn off the conveyor belts because like something bad will happen if you do. But as far as I can tell, I couldn't figure out how to do that. So
yeah, so I picked up shit and dropped it onto the conveyor belt, which seemed to be a thing to do.
You could do
and
that?
I couldn't tell what the fuck that did.
That was to clear the path. It wasn't the conveyor belt. It was the fact that thing was in the way.
Oh, okay. So those were blocking the path.
Yeah, one of them was blocking. One of them was blocking a path to a chest, and the other one was blocking the critical path.
I tried picking up the big barrel, but it didn't do anything, and it looked like it had a sprite. So I was like, this should be pick-upable, but no. You
picked it up with the crane.
I didn't find the thing to operate the crane.
Well.
So I guess it's not the critical path. I guess it's just two on the way to
stand correctly. It was not the critical path. Oh yeah, the critical path in this dungeon is really, really short. Actually,
I looked at a guide because I was very confused about that area, and it turns out that it's not critical at all. You can totally skip the right side.
Well, yes, if you have a guide that tells you the password, of course.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is a critical path because you have to do it to get the password, but you can do the password without doing it. If you just know it, because you are using a guide, or you remember from last time you played the game, which I didn't.
Yeah. So, you go and you get the password. You go to unlock the security door. All that jazz. It opens and we run back down. Sorry, I forgot to take notes.
There's actually 2 dungeons.
I was playing a lot.
The right half is the factory part, and the left half is the like laboratory part, and they have different enemies and different gimmicks. The factory gimmick's a lot more annoying. The lab gimmick really isn't too bad. It's just a pretty normal dungeon, but at the end of the laboratory, you have to use that password. So that's why you would have to do both if you're not using a guide. But yeah, that's it. And then you get to the end of the lab, and some stuff happens.
Yeah. So at the end of the lab, getting there. Forgot to take notes. Hate myself for forgetting to take notes.
I just played this, so I could probably just bring us through it. I finished like right around 6 p.m. Was when I finished it. All I had left to do was half of a lab dungeon. You turn on the computer. You do the thing. You turn on the power. And then as you go to leave, you have a cutscene about Robo. Are you caught up?
Yeah. So you're going to leave, and the security system's turning on because there's fucking monsters everywhere, and the power was out, so it wasn't no big deal. But now that the power's on, they're like shit, and so they start to close the blast doors. So Robo jumps up to hold it open, and he's like, "Don't go, leave me. I'll stay behind." And you're like, "No, you're our friend now." And he pops out and bounces all around the screen, and it's real cute. And he's fine, actually. So then you take him and you go upstairs. and the rest of the security system is a whole bunch of robots that look just like Robo.
Different color.
And Robo's like, yeah, they're all blue. And he's like, oh shit, R64Y, R67Y, R69Y. It's so good to see you again. And they're just like, feelings are for chumps. Since you have feelings, you're defective, and we're going to beat the shit out of you. And then it's a real cool cutscene where you have control, but you can't do anything to stop them from just beating the shit out of your friend. And it's really cool.
If you try, Robo tells you not to. He says, no, these are my friends. Don't hurt my friends. But you're like, they're beating the shit out of you.
Yeah. It's real cool. So they beat the total shit out of Robo, and they throw him in the garbage chute. And then you have a real hard fight against 6 Robos without Robo. And Fire Swirl comes in real handy here, but it takes 2 of them, or at least for me, it took 2 of them to take down a line. And if you're also like me, yeah, if you hit the guy in the middle, it hits.
Wow!
But if you're like me, on your second time, you accidentally do it on the bottom one instead of the middle one. So then you have an uneven number, and you have to sit there and basically just spam. I think they're called revives for you guys, but they're Athenian waters.
That's dumb.
For me.
I don't like that at all.
And just, that's the one slatteryism that I'm liking the least
waters. Bitch,
so far.
It's a Phoenix down. Come on, don't be cute.
It's a Phoenix down, right? And so, so yeah, it was real hard for me because I'm a dumbass and I clicked the wrong goddamn button. But so after you take him down. You check in the garbage chute, and Robo is too fat for the chute, and he's stuck right in the top, so you can go in and save him. And so you pull him out, and you fix him. Oh no, you don't fix him right away. He's like trashed. So there's a really cool scene of your overworld sprites dragging his overworld sprite,
and they're dragging him very slowly.
To the thing.
It's like, they drag him all the way back to the other place, which it's a world map. So this is a long fucking way. It's a really cool little scene.
Yeah, I love it. So, so you get back, and Luca fixes Robo, and Robo's like, all my friends hate me. I have nothing here, but you guys are trying to change the world, so that sounds like something I want to do. I'm going to come with you. And we're like, hell yeah, robot. So
listen to the nice robot.
So yeah, so we are like, we'll take the robot with us, and we will go through the time gate that's here. Everything is awesome. What could possibly go wrong? Surely we won't overload the time stream by carrying 4 people in it at once. So we go through, and we overload the time stream by bringing 4 people through it at once, and end up in a place that kind of looks like a shady, like, French street corner, but
it's also like suspended
cool.
in the endless abyss.
Yeah, it's real cool, but we'll talk about how real cool it is next week, because right now we have to listen to my good friend Rick Astley. And then talk about our memorable moments. All right. I only remember one. I'm sure others will pop into my head, but in the prison, so there's a diversion you can do in the prison where you go through all the Shawshank tunnels. Did you find that, Eli?
Yes, actually.
Where you climb on the outside?
I went out onto the side of the building, and I got me some stuff, and I climbed down into a turlet.
Yeah, that part's really cool.
It was super cool.
Yeah. So when you get through all the Shawshank of the tunnels, you're like, oh my god, somebody escaped. And you get to the bottom of it, and there's a dude in there. And you're like, congrats, dude, like you're almost out. But you go to talk to him, and he just collapses into bones. And the sprite changes from dude into skeleton.
The two
and I love it. He just died in there. the two
Dude and
genders.
skeleton.
Dude and skeleton.
Right now I'm a dude,
yeah,
but I hope to
I
probably
loved
transition
that
to
part.
being a skeleton eventually.
I know I will.
But yeah, that was my biggest one. I
There's also
really enjoyed
a
it.
skeleton in there who gets brought back to life.
Yeah, like a spirit like possesses the skeleton and he comes back and you fight him. That's a cool little one-off fight.
It was really neat.
One real quick. If you recall last week, due to emulator problems, I didn't actually do the trial. Guess what? Turns out I got 7 out of 7, baby. I am a goody good boy whom Chrono is a goody good boy who never does anything wrong and doesn't lie on the stand, and all 7 people are like not guilty and they're like, well, you're going to jail anyway. Second thing, and this will be my second. This will be my last one. I'll let you have a turn, and I got 1 or 2 more. When we're in that first little dungeon, the first future dungeon, I don't know which one. That enemy that you briefly mentioned earlier, the one that's like a really tall blobby thing. I love that enemy. It's just really fucking freaky and creepy looking, and it sucks, and I hate it. It looks like 2 tomatoes on top of each other with like a weird single foot underneath it.
Yeah,
and it's all
gross.
tomato colored, and it's got like a weird little nozzle snout. And then it'll like one of its moves is it can suck your health, so it'll extend its weird little like it looks like a fucking like a gas pump like hose will extend all the way to you, and it's also red, and it'll like suck out your whatever. It's just a really good enemy. It's very evocative. It's very fucked up. It's like this bio. Everything else is just like, hey, here's a shitty robot. Hey, here's a rat, right? Here's like a thing of slime. This thing's like, yeah, here's some awful mutated bio monstrosity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's called a mutant, which is even worse. It's like, this used to be a dude, and now it's a tomato.
That's right. And they don't say what it is. It's like, it's a mutant, whatever.
The other 2 genders. I used to be a dude, but now I'm a tomato.
But yeah, that's Eli. What do you got?
I really liked the dungeon scene where you're escaping. I thought it was really cool. I like that there were 2 separate options for getting the fuck out of there.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I thought it was really interesting to find that out. I love that this game continues to fuck with me. Like, it feels like one of those, like, this must be one of the earliest games that did this shit. Because, like, I just love games that mess with your head in various ways and, like, make you rethink how you're playing the game.
And all in, like, a friendly way, not like in a Eternal Darkness was the first game that came up, and that's a completely weird thing. But like that game is like fucked up and messes with your head, but it's like in a horror way. This one is just like you thought you were just playing an RPG, but we're all here. We all know what you're doing, so let's just riff on the fact that you're playing an RPG.
Heather Alexander's wonderful.
I love her.
Wonderful Metal Gear retrospective. When she's reviewing Metal Gear 2 for the MSX2, I recently reread her retrospective because a dear friend of mine is playing the series for the first time. And she's like talking about how Metal Gear 2 is always messing with you, but it's not like in like a crazy like postmodern way. And the word she uses is texture. Is that all of the weird little things, like being able to drown in a swamp, or the ground making noise, or getting in a truck that accidentally teleports you back to the beginning of the fucking game. Like, in Metal Gear, it's much more frustrating than it is in, for example, Chrono Trigger, but all these things just add texture to the world and make it more than just a video game world, more than just a series of levels. But this place that really comes alive is having all sorts of weird little things going on, you know? And they're not system-level things. It's not like they programmed in a mechanic for this, you know? It's not a... it's not like in the Western kind of game where everything's systems oriented. It's like, no, it's all these little ad hoc things, right? Like, this dungeon you can make noise, sure, whatever. This dungeon has a shitty crane that sucks. Sure. Yeah, and it just had so much texture to the world. You can really feel it.
Yeah, I love it. Speaking of Heather Alexandra, though, R.I.P. Kotaku.
Sad.
That also happened this week.
Whoa, really?
It didn't literally die, but it's like it's like it's on its last legs. Heather and Maddie and maybe one other people are still there, but
shit.
What's his name? Jason Schreier left. So
yeah,
Jason's gone. Gita's gone.
Yeah.
Tim's gone.
Yeah, sucks, but yeah, Eli, did you have any more?
I love the bleakness of the year 2300.
It's at first when you were like the year 2300 sucks, I thought you were saying this time period sucked, and I was like, no, like I love this part of the game, but no, it's just
man, it must
the year
suck
sucks.
That's a shitty year. Don't get wine that was made in 2300.
I was going to say
one thing that I thought about was that this is 2300. It's been 400 years since Lavos showed up. It's been this way for 400.
It's
like
still
that.
this bad.
Think of how long that is for the world to be this way.
That sucks.
Like
it's just gotten shittier and shittier. Yeah. Well, it has changed.
If only they had a president that could just say, "Well, we'll just not have Lavos anymore on Easter."
Nice.
Yeah, I love me some dark shit, and boy, this is dark.
I'm surprised
it is real bad.
I'm surprised the humans in this time period have had the energy, have had the motivation to even bother procreating. Frankly,
well, they as we're leaving, they're like, I don't know how you did that. I don't know how you got through that refrigeration area. And they're like, oh, well, maybe because we're healthy. And the guy responds, healthy?
What?
Like he's never fucking heard the word before. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I feel like after just a couple of generations, I feel like I wouldn't be able to bone down if I felt like I was dying of starvation all the time.
That might be the one good thing they have left.
Maybe that's true. I just can't imagine. I feel like they would probably just not fuck and would never have any kids, and the race would just die off. Like,
speaking of 300, another little texture thing that I love is how there are so many basically random encounters with the specters, and each one is like flavorful of like, oh no, these are ghosts that were all inhabiting this washing machine or whatever. Like it's always, the ghosts always come out of stuff.
That's true.
Or lying around.
This game doesn't always do this. This game doesn't always do this, unfortunately. But sometimes it uses the fact that there's on-screen encounters to make enemies give texture to the environment instead of just like, oh, the enemies are in the hallway. A decent number of the enemies are like, oh, they came out of the bushes. Oh, they were hiding in the rafters. Oh, here's some little cute little 5-second long little narrative we're telling with these enemy encounters. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but you're totally right. The game does that a lot, though not all the time.
Last week's the one I really liked were the two little goblins that were just picking on the roly-poly and like kicking around like a kickball. Love that shit. Any more that you had, Maddie?
Let's see. The whole optional stuff was going to be mine. I didn't realize you were going to actually cover that stuff, which is cool. I really love all of Robo's animations. He's very energetic. He's very like goofy, which is an interesting contrast to the bleakness of the time period that he's from. He's bouncing around the room. He goes, oh no, he gets surprised and gets very, very big. He loves putting his arms and legs all just completely out. His animation when he's typing on a computer, if it's behind him, it's supposed to be like he's furiously typing. He's like facing north. He's like furiously typing on the computer, but I swear to God, it looks exactly like Oh, are you kidding me? The really wonderful comedian who does stuff with the guy who does stuff with Hannibal Buress.
Eric Andre?
Eric Andre, yeah. It looks like Eric Andre going, "Let me in, let me in." That's what it looks like when Robo is typing on a computer. It looks like he's going, "Let me in."
It does.
He's just really, really cool because he's got that childlike, I don't know anything. I just know that I'm a child or a puppy whom doesn't know anything about anything, but I love my friends. It's really good shit, and I really like it. Final tiny little thing that I think gives you a lot of little texture when you're in the second dome. I forget which one that was called. The second dome that you go to. Eris Dome, that's right, yes. Erisu. Eris Dome. One of the NPCs is literally just like... when you're in Tran Dome, after you shop with the guy, after you close out the shopping window, he says something like... I actually forget what he says. He says some little aphorism.
In mine, he was like... just save up as much money as you can, and it'll make your life better. Well, that's at least what I've always heard, or something like that.
He's a lot snappier than that. But he said he's.
I mean, I have it here. I can pull it up. I was going off memory as well.
It doesn't really matter. He says some little aphorism about saving money and living a good life or something. But what's cool is when you go to the reason I didn't screenshot it because that's not the part that matters. When you go to Eris Dome, the shopkeeper says the same thing. And he says it. He says, are you gonna shop at the shop? And you shop, and after you're done shopping, he says like, save money, live a good life. And then after he says that, he has another dialogue box where he says, it's what the guy who walked to the other dome used to say. And I just love that little bit of world building where that guy used to be here, and then he went there, presumably to, maybe he thought I should peddle my wares in the other dome. I will brave the dangerous area 51 or whatever. One little line of dialogue like that gives you so much.
I love that. Also, apparently, no Yuji Horii cannot go a single game without making this same exact joke. It's been there since Dragon Quest 1 of two people talking about each other across.
Yeah, that's one of the core.
That's his
his writing tick. He's like, hey, I invented the idea of having one NPC mention that there's someone else in a different town, and then you go to that town and you're like, hey, it's that guy. Yeah. Whatever, man. It's good.
That's his thing. It's good. But yeah. I also we haven't really picked up much on the vibe yet. But the vibe of the End of Time is fucking groovy.
Yeah.
I fucking love it.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited to talk about it.
We don't even know it's called the End of Time. We just got there and they said, "Where the heck is this?" And that was when we saved. But
it says that when you save. It says that you're in the End of Time.
It didn't for mine. Maybe
it didn't change the title. But it said the End of Time down in the lower left corner.
Oh, I didn't look down there. Oh, cool. Nice. Good.
Oh, y'all's has chapter titles too?
Yeah, our chapter title is still technically like the factory chapter title. I'm guessing until we talk to the old man.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if that was added in the DS remake or not. I couldn't remember, cool. But they're good. Like, cool. They're all cool things. Like that's what I've been naming the episodes. Is picking one of the chapter titles we did, and last week's was A Vanished Princess, not the A, which I thought that's changing the article
cute.
There makes it a much cooler
phrase. Choice there, nice.
Yeah, but yeah.
So Sam died. That's fun. Anyway, this is an RPG Book Club. We are playing Chrono Trigger. It's great. If you like what you're hearing, you should check out our website. It's rpgbook.club. It's got links to all kinds of things, such as our Discord or our Twitter or our email. And also, you should check out ko-fi.com/rpgbookclub to become a supporter. If you're a supporter, you get to vote on what games we play. We're not having a vote right this second because we're in the middle of Chrono Trigger, but after one or two more episodes, we're going to be opening up our our voting for what game we're going to play next. Oh, what's that? I'm hearing from Beyond the Grave that voting is actually open now.
The ghost of Sam has given us a message.
Next up is Best of the Rest, which means all the games that didn't get voted on in the last year are going to get a second chance. They're going to get to lip sync for their life, basically, is the joke that Sam would make if he was here, because he likes that television show. And yeah, so there's 4 of those, and I forget what they are right now, and who cares? You can listen to last week's episode if you want to know what games they are, or next week's episode. Sam is still dead, apparently. I think that's everything. Yeah, so as a reminder, next week we're playing 2. I don't remember. Okay, we definitely need Sam now. I'm hearing another message from Beyond from the Beyond. Apparently next week we are playing Until. We're playing a lot of stuff next week. We're going to eventually, I don't want to spoil anything, but eventually we will go to a time period that is farther back than 600 AD. Farther back than the Middle Ages, a long ago time. And in that long ago time, we're going to have a little adventure. And after that adventure's over, like you beat the main boss and do the thing, that's when we're saving. So go and have all the adventures that you want, and after you finish up with the super olden times, save your game. That's our saving spot. Cool. So we're good to go. So this, you're not going to get to hear Sam's beautiful voice, or he can slice himself in later. This has been RPG Book Club. Thanks for joining us. I have been Maddie Grace Webben.
And I have been Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
Bye, everybody.
Toodaloo. Love you. Sam says goodbye from Beyond the Grave.
All right. I should pull up my notes just because it has all the stuff about Boater on it, though.
About what? Boner? About Boner?
Boners, yes.
That's the topic of discussion for the day. We're not talking about Final Fantasy. Jesus, we're not talking about Chrono Trigger. We're talking about Boner Trigger.
Boner Trigger. The porn parody of Chrono Trigger is Boner Trigger. Wait.
Oh, we're off to a great start.
Alternately, given the context of when we're recording this, it's more like Rona Trigger.
Oh.
Yikes.
Corona Trigger.
Yeah.
Chrono Trigger, more like Chronovirus. Okay, I'm done. I'll be here all week. I will be here all week because I'm going to be here every single day until the fucking shelter-in-place order stays. I'm literally in my chair all week and next week and next week.